Okay, so I have at least uploaded the New York City flights notebook, and we didn't finish the whole thing, but you should take a look at it on your own time. Make sure you understand kind of the commands and things that were being done there. And then today I wanted to kind of look at these important ideas of group by and pivot tables, which appeared in, the group by command appeared in our analysis of the New York City flights. But here, this is a little bit more of an instructional notebook that covers these topics here. Okay, so we've seen that in pandas, everything is powered by an index. Okay, and here I'm going to create something called a multi-index. Okay, so this is basically a hierarchical index, and you've got different levels here. And so here, the index, you can see the index is a matrix with 2 rows in it. I've got AAA, BBB, CCC, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The series itself is just going to be 9 random integers. Okay, so I go ahead and I just create this. You normally will not create a multi-index manually. Okay, this is just, I'm doing this specifically just for this example. Generally, the multi-index will be created for you automatically when you use something like a group by command or something like that. Okay, so if I ask Python to print out the data, this is what we get. Okay, the values are in the series that goes 589500176, and over here on the left is the index. Okay, and you can see we have A1, and it's blank, but this just means same as above, A2 and A3. And then we got B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, and C3 as far as the index goes. Okay, but where it's kind of repeated as the one from above, it just leaves it blank there. So this is a 2-layer index. You got the index A, and then you A, B, and C, and then 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and if you ask what is the index, we are going to get basically a list of tuples. Okay, so we get what it states is a multi-index, and we get all these tuples: A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, and so on. Okay, so that is the index. And so once you have this index, okay, just like any other thing, you can use the dot locator, okay, the dot location, and you specify values for the index. So if you're choosing the outer index, so we got the outer index and the inner index. The outer index is the A, B, C, and the inner is the 1, 2, 3. So here I can say choose the outer index B, okay? And so here, once I have B, we see we get values the index 1, 2, 3, and values 5, 0, 0. Okay, and we can see we basically selected this section out of the data series. Okay. Okay. We can also select via the inner index. Okay. And so this is this feels a little strange. Okay. So we're doing the dot locate. All right. And we're basically leaving the first portion of the index colon, saying we want all of them, and then we want index 2, okay? And so basically we're getting go A2, B2, and C2, okay? A2 is 8, B2 is 0, and C2 is 7, and we can see we get the 8, 0, 7 along with A, B, and C to kind of indicate all of those things, okay? If we ask what is this, it's still a series. So this gets reported back as a series, where the index is ABC, and if you ask what is the index of this series, you get the index ABC indeed. Okay. So here is, so keep in mind this thing, okay? So we've got the index basically A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3, and you can do something called unstack. Unstack. It's very similar to the spread operator in tidyr, but basically where we have have it like this, what it's going to do is it's going to unstack the 1, 2, 3, and it's going to kind of spread them out into columns here. Okay, so basically the A's, okay, which we have is A1, A2, A3. It takes these things and it unstacks them, and so we're going to get a column for 1, column for 2, column for 3, and so we get A5, 8, 9. Okay, and it takes the values for B, okay, B1, B2, B3, which are currently stacked, and we unstack them, okay, and so we're going to get a row B and a column 1, 2, 3 with 5, 0, 0. Same thing with C. The 1, 7, 6 gets unstacked into these things like that. Okay. So after I unstack this, what is my index? My index is ABC, and that is not a multi-index. Okay. Whereas back here, we explicitly get the multi-index with A1, A2, A3. After unstacking them, it is not a multi-index. I just have the index A, B, and C. All right. And if I ask what is the shape of this unstacked thing, what will it tell me? It's going to be a 3 by 3, right? Okay, 3 rows, 3 columns. Okay. If you have something like this, okay, you can apply stack back onto it, okay, and it will stack the values back up, okay. So here, if you got something in a table like this, you can say stack it, and the stack operation will produce the multi-index. Okay, so generally, I mean, you can create a multi-index yourself, but a lot of times it will be created for you automatically when you use something like the stack operator or some other kind of operation that creates this hierarchical index. Okay, with if you have a multi-index, okay, which looks like this, you can say swap levels, okay, and what that's going to do is it's going to just bring the 1, 2, 3 index to the outside and put the ABC on the inside, okay? So now I got 1A, 2A, 3A, 1B, 2B, 3B, 1C, 2C, 3C, okay? So it doesn't rearrange any of the orders, okay? And so here, if I use the dot locator after swapping the levels, okay, and I say pick A, it's going to pick out the 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9s, right? And I have to do the colon comma A to kind of get the inner index, okay? If you want this resorted based on the outer index, you can do swap levels and then sort the index. And it does exactly that, okay? So swap levels will swap the order of the hierarchical index, putting the A, B, and C on the inside and bringing the 1, 2, 3 to the outside, but it doesn't rearrange them. It's not until you call sort index that it's going to sort on the outer first, then on the inner. Okay, so now we got the 1A, 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, 2C, I think, so on and so forth. Okay, all of these things do not alter. So the data, the swap level, the sort index, do not alter data, the original thing itself. Okay. You can use Inplace equals true, which is an argument that exists for a lot of these options, and it will modify the data frame in place. But a lot of times it's returning a copy that is separate from the original data frame. Okay. All right. So, question. What if I swap levels and unstack? What will this look like? So I did data, swap level. So this is data right here. Data is A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3. What if I swap level and unstack? What am I going to get? Yeah, so my columns will be ABC and my rows will be 1, 2, 3. Okay? So the first row will be row 1. And in the columns, I will get 5, 5, 1, okay? And then and then the next will be row 2, and the column across the columns, that row 2 will go 8, 0, 7. Right? Okay, so I get the row is 1, and then the columns are ABC, and it goes 5, 5, 1, 8, 0, 7, and the last one's going to go 9, 0, 6. Okay. So you can swap levels and unstack them. All right, and just like before, okay, you can call sum on a series, and it will add up all of the numbers. Okay, and you can say, I also want you to sum based on the multi-index. Okay, so sum at level 0. Level 0 will sum basically the values for A, which will be 5 plus 8 plus 9. That's 22. It will sum B, which will be 5 plus 0 plus 0, which will be 5, and 1 plus 7 plus 6, which will be 14. So we'll get 22, 5, and 14 for A, B, and C. Or you can sum on level 1. Okay, so again, it's 0 indexed. So the level 1 index, so this is the level 0 or index 0, level 0 index and of the multi-index, and then the level 1, it will sum the 1s, which will be 5, 5, and 1, so we'll get 11. Then it'll sum the 2s, the 8, the 0, and the 7, so we'll get 15. And then it'll sum the 3, 9, 0, 6, which will be 15. So we'll get 11, 15, 15 for that. Okay, so you can, so having a multi-index, a hierarchical index, you can have something like that. Okay, and do kind of these summary functions accordingly as well. Right. Of course, you can unstack and then do, sums by columns or sums by rows and things like that, right? So you do, sum axis 0, sum axis 1, and things to get the same. But you can also just sum based on the multi-index using level, which is very handy as well. All right, so here I'm just making a data frame, okay, and I've got two rows, alpha and beta, and columns 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm just taking 6 values, and I'm saying we've got alpha and beta for the rows, columns 1, 2, 3. Right. And so here is, you just might read in a data frame, something like this. Okay, you can read in like a CSV file, looks something like this. This is obviously a really small one with only 6 cells. Okay, and you can create something called stack. You can use stack, and this will create the multi-index. Okay, and it does exactly what we would expect. Unstack basically undoes the creation of the stacks. So this will return exactly what we had before. So we stacked it into this, and then now I'm unstacking this, and I get back exactly what I had before. Okay. When you unstack, it generally unstacks the deepest level first. Okay, it's going to unstack the deepest level of the index, but you can specify that you want to unstack a certain level of the hierarchy. Okay. So here I got data stack, and then I'm going to do data unstack 0. Okay, so that's going to unstack this thing, and so what will the result be? So look at this thing. This is the stacked data, and I'm going to unstack it, but at level 0. Well, how many rows will I end up having? I'll have 3 rows. It should be 1, 2, 3, and then 2 columns, a column for alpha and a column for beta. Okay, because I'm unstacking based on the 0 index. All right. Okay. Or you can specify that you want to unstack based on the letter or unstack on the number. So unstack letter will give me exactly this, the same thing as I have right here, because I've taken the letter portion of the multi-index. So the multi-index is named where the index level is letter and index level number. Okay, or you can unstack based on the number level, so on and so forth. So we've got this kind of reshaping of your data based on the multi-index. Okay. Depending on what you have, all right, Unstack can end up introducing some missing values, right? So I've got series 1, S1, and series 2, and I'm going to kind of concatenate these things, okay, using keys, okay? So when you use keys, when you do concat, that produces a multi-index, right? So let me just kind of show you what ends up happening here, right, is that the keys 1 and 2 create the top level of the multi-index, okay? And then the index on the series themselves create the inner level, okay? So I've got 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, all right? And then 2C, 2D, 2E, okay? So what will happen if I unstack this? How many rows will I end up having? And how many columns will I end up having? So right, so we're unstacking the innermost, right? And so, so I'm going to have 2 rows, and how many columns will I have? It's going to be the union of kind of all of the entries in the inner index, and so that there will be 5, A, B, C, D, and E. And we will introduce missing values for 1E and missing values for 2A and 2B. Okay, so so we're able to unstack these, but 1E is missing and 2A and 2B are missing because when we unstacked these things, they are not there. Okay. If I then tell Python to stack these back up, okay, it filters out the missing values and we get back exactly what we started with. Right? If you want to kind of keep these things so that you have the complete index, so it goes A, B, C, D, E, and A, B, C, D, E for both level 1, key 1, and key 2, you can say drop NA is false, and that will keep the NAs, right? And so now we have this, and we've introduced NAs for 1E and NAs for 2A and 2B. So, okay. So if you recall how R's tidyr function does the spread and the gather, stack and unstack is very similar, okay? Except, but here it has, you need indices specified and column names specified, and so when you do this, it kind of automatically creates your multi-index accordingly. You don't have to specify a whole bunch of other stuff, but it's very kind of similar in concept.